For the residents, we're gonna make this clear for them.
It's not, it's just loading. Give me 1 second, 1 minute.
My whole family. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, yeah. My husband, yeah, he was fishing right. And 20% of year to lose. Sure, I get all that.
So excited I get to do this with this little today. This is our June 23rd, 2026, 6 p.m. Citizens Police Review Board. And so I'm gonna call us to order. I believe we have everybody here, Mr. Codler. And it is Terry then, yeah, Ms. Shields, thank you. Nice to see you, so I think we're already. So I have, for the agenda for tonight is, outline of proceedings, board business, followed by case reviews. And then if anybody would like to speak for 3 minutes, at the end, we have a sign-up sheet somewhere in the back. Stephanie has it. The lady with the pizza has the sign-in sheet. I have no report, so I am going to turn it over to the executive director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, members and guests. Thank you.
Here you go, Beth. We got another one.
You really don't want to give me something like this. But good evening, members, and yes, and on behalf of the staff and the members of the board, I want to thank Ms. Rainey. Let's just come over here. And well, thank you for welcoming us. We'd like to come back and perhaps more frequently. We cannot always promise. In order to keep this moving and not to inconvenience our guest, Commander Abraham, who was the commander of Zone 3, and we recently, they launched a model to manage the public order down there. We know the South Side has been a bit of a challenge to manage the guests that come down there, the hospitality that goes on there, and oftentimes erupts into problems that require everyone's attention. In a very creative way, they came up with a model that was collaborative among the bar owners, the residents, the people who frequent the area, and our police. Come up with a model that would assist in managing it in a reasonable manner to keep people safe. And I did reach out to Commander Abraham yesterday and asked if he could possibly stop by tonight to give an overview and to perhaps hear from members. I know there have been some questions about the logistical side of this project, keeping in mind they only have 1 weekend with it. So those kinds of issues are going to be ironed out as time goes on because it's a major undertaking. But the commander was willing to and able to come tonight. So I'd like to introduce Commander Jeff Abraham from Zone 3, who was one of the creative minds that put this model together in the South Side Street Fest. Commander, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hello. Nice here.
I'm gonna go over here so I can address everybody. I'm not gonna use this. Can everybody hear me? If I don't use this, I'm good.
Will that pick up for the remote meeting?
Terry, I mean, I get a thumbs up. Can you hear, Mr. Cotler? Can you hear? Okay,
Maybe, yeah, for the people.
okay.
No problem.
Audio's fine, guys.
So the Southside Street Fest started, was born on July 4th, 2025. That night we saw a large influx of juveniles come over to the south side, top of the regular bar members, and created them having shortly after 2 a.m. Fights, the other crimes of sort of nature. We ended up having to push the street, do a line formation, and the officers got hit with fireworks, assaulted, and quite honestly, when it came back to my station that night, I looked at a lot of officers that had despair on their face, that we weren't doing enough. I wasn't doing enough to keep them safe. You couple that with this year alone, we've seized close to 70 illegal firearms down in the south side. That is more than the city of Nashville sees in 1 year. So, between that and the number of legal firearms that we come across on a weekend, it would be very, easy in one of these interactions for a police officer to get shot, not for us to be involved in an officer involved shooting. So this plan was born out of mitigating those interactions and hopefully returning Southside to a creator or to a safer environment. What we do, every Friday and Saturday night for the next 26 days, day 27 was just last Saturday. We went over relatively well, there's pickups, with Uber Eats drivers and Southside residents not being able to get in that we're addressing. But how it works is 12th Street and 18th Street are the only access points to the East Carson Street corridor where most of the bars are. You have to be 21 and over. Any legal or illegal firearms are prohibited. The bar security that has taken on the security portion of this event enacted the same policies that Acrisure Stadium has, PNC Park has, PPG Place has. So clear bags, no oversized bags. Ladies can bring in, clutch bags, that's pretty much it. They go through a metal detector, they scan your IDs, security handles all of that. Us as police cannot handle any sort of carding anybody, checking anybody out for weapons. That is all done by the private security. The event is a private permit that was approved through the city of Pittsburgh. So it is a private event sponsored by the Southside Hospitality Partnership as well as Southside Camp. What we do on the side streets is we put up 8-foot high fencing. So anybody trying to circumvent the lines or any underagers trying to get in, they will be able to get in because there'll be high fencing, police officers at each of those intersections. As well on the side streets as well. So at Bingham Street, there's also officers at those posts with wooden barricades. So if somebody does live on one of those streets, they work the third shift or they're coming home from work, they're still able to get in on the back. The last weekend on Saturday night, so I'm sure everybody in here has been to the South Side at least once in their life. I'm sure everybody here has at least seen on social media the amounts of fights and disorderly behavior that the police deal with. We had zero fights. We had very little sort of crime of a disorderly nature. And I think security only injected maybe 25 people out of the close to 3,000 people that came to the event. The other activation point of this, which is the community side, the bar side of this, there are beer tents down there. So you can beer on the street, you can walk around with it, no problem. And there's the park down there. Last weekend we had miniature golf. There was T-shirt vendors, food trucks. So that's going to happen every single Friday and Saturday night in summertime. So it's more of a return to what I remember Southside as being when I first believed here. This person with me, I say this quite a bit to people. I met my wife. So one and only time in my life I picked up a bartender. It was at 1311. So Southside has always been a very near and dear place to me because I was able to meet the love of my life and have a family. So this is something that I hold very personal and very happy to be part of this plan to hopefully change the culture and the environment out there, right? Say, we want the return of bachelor and early bachelor programs to come out. For bar alcohols and all sorts of stuff that used to happen in the early 2000s. So with that, I think I've addressed everything.
Board
I am
question.
more than involved with any questions that anybody might have.
A question. Again, this is the college students are not in town.
college schools are not.
Once they return from college, how do you envision, what happening?
The event is only going to run until September 12th. with One extra weekend, October 31st, which is Halloween weekend. The, to fund the security side of it costs hundreds of thousands of dollars, as well as getting the metal detectors, the scanners and everything like that. So we were piloting this for the summer. And hopefully if it catches, maybe then they would enact this every year. On top of that, East Carson Street is a state road. So we had to actually get approval from the governor's office to actually shut the street down. So it was a huge, huge undertaking to make all of this happen. But, so far, so good.
But I think that, middle of September, your college can go in return.
Yeah.
So very likely you can have a large gatherings. College.
Well, we hope to bring college students back. We don't get a whole influx of college students that we used to, when I was a patrol officer in 03, that was all I came down. We're running into violent felons, people that are coming down there and not city residents even. I want to say 70% of the firearm arrests we've made over the past 3 years have all been non-city residents. So we want to bring back, our south side folks, our north side folks that live in uptown, come over, and as well as the college students back that are 20.
Exactly. So thank you.
So talking about the funding and some of the expenses, you had mentioned that this is a private event they've gone through the permitting process to kind of put these restrictions on that space. Is the host of the event covering the cost for the police officers that are there?
No, that is all personal.
Okay. Is that typical for when there's permitted events, when law enforcement is requested at permitted
No,
events?
This is a unique situation. If not, I can tell you over the last 3 summers, we would have the same amount of police officers down there regardless with a lot of overtime. So what we did was we took an academy class of 8. There's 24 in the academy class, 18 of them have been detailed to zone 3 in downtown. So they spend half of their night in downtown around Market Square and addressing those issues with the juveniles that you see on the news and all that. And then they come over to the south side the other half. So we're not spending an uber amount of overtime to funds on our side.
And I guess related, you mentioned the new officers. I guess the other thing, I was down there Saturday to check it out as well. Quirks, some hiccups. One, I've met some residents. I spoke to some residents down there, and so obviously they had some concerns about waiting in line to go home. And then another question had come up about if they were a lawful firearm owner and they were coming home, what happens if they come through the metal detectors with the lawfully carrying a firearm?
Yes. Somebody's a law, if they live, let's say, 1400 East Carson Street. Quite honestly, we would just say, we have a command post as well. So they would just, hey, Jeff Abraham is coming home. He's a lawful, legal permitted to carry. He is just straight up walking into his house. And we would pass him through and go together. The other issue that you brought up about the south side residents, so we're gonna do something similar. I just went to Toronto, Canada, so they have a Nexus line, right? The Fast Pass or whatever, at the airport, it's the same thing, right? So through the event coordinator, they're gonna register with, if you have a 15203 area code, you're gonna be able to get one of these Fast Pass, so you can come in and out a lot faster than those that are from outside the east or south side.
And I guess one other question, I did notice that I think there was like an officer at every cross street because they were kind of watching the fences. And just from a policing standpoint, I don't recall seeing that before. Typically, the officers are kind of clustered around 16th, 17th Street, around those couple bars there. Just curious, even when this ends, would you possibly look at possibly having officers more spread out across that area? Because I go there sometimes, and even on the videos, you see all the officers responding from one area versus being more dispersed.
Karen can voice my frustration when I see that. It drives me nuts too. We have two really good sergeants down there that they have an actual plan when they go back down to the 11 that are just
Mhm.
permanently assigned down there. That at nights they assign orders. So the problem is, and this is the biggest part of this that I had to stress to supervision, the leadership down there is like, you cannot chase the shiny object. Us cops, we hear fight on the radio and we all want.
Mhm.
And I think that when you see those clusters, that's what you're seeing. And so they are trying, I know, talking to them, they assign post corners. Hopefully that stays after this is wonderful. Because the biggest feedback I got from the police officers on Saturday was, I want the old South Side because they want chaos and all that kind of stuff. So they're young and they're new and they want to get in the mix, and this when I heard that, I was very happy because I'm like, well, it's gonna be, hopefully it is more, that's right, so, yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
I had one question.
Yes, sir.
I did see a news media report that said that background checks was possibly going to be run on points of entry when people come into, was that true or is that not true?
Yes, so the security guards, it's a private event. So security guards, very similar to, like I was saying before, Acrisure, PNC Park, one of those places, they'll run your scanner just as if you were going into a bar. It's the same thing. You're coming into that private event and you have to give your ID to them. And that mitigates the kids that are walking East Carson Street. 15, we had a 13-year-old during the draft, the firearm. So that mitigates those issues. That's why I've heard that.
Okay. And similar to Mr. Robinson, I was there on Saturday as a
Was you there?
as an Uber driver.
Okay.
And I will say I had a passenger who resides within East Carson. And I don't know if you guys have had a conversation like with the platform, but they had us drop off on the side street, and similar to Mr. Robinson. I just never seen that show of force, having an officer on every intersection. And I also saw the state troopers were also
Yeah.
there as well.
State troopers are partnered with us, so they are down there as well. They send us at least 2 supervisors and 4 troopers every weekend.
Okay.
With the exception of a couple of weekends that they're elsewhere. But yes, they partnered with us, and it's endeavor.
Okay. So that's in addition to the cadets, the regular staff, and also the private security.
Yeah, they're not, they're police officers.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. Thank you.
I think just to expand a little bit more, because I had the same question about the background checks. And I did talk to the security at the thing, and I guess I learned something that I did not know before, that the bar owners, do they have a database of people who have had infractions or arrests just at bars? So if I had a far-flung issue, an arrest somewhere outside the city, that's not going to come flagged up when I go through this thing.
No.
It's specific to if you had an issue on those south side bars. So it's not reading like a PA state database. It's like a local. Who maintains that though?
So it's maintained by however they set up their cloud, right?
Okay.
The 4 scanners that they have down there are all cloud-based, and they can all speak to each other, right? So, Jeff Abraham acted full last weekend down there. If he came through another line this weekend, it would already scan that and it's been ejected from the event. It's not allowed back.
So I'm just trying to rational thinking here for a second. So if somebody was ejected, let's say from Mario's, and let's say they wanted to go to another bar, right? If they didn't want to go to Mario's, they're still not allowed into the permitted area?
Correct. And right as when I came to Zone 3, which is around 2023, all the bars on East Carson Street had this. So this is just a more condensed version of that. They just so if I went into Mario's after the fool got thrown out of there, I couldn't go back into, Capos or Pitch or one of those bars down there. It would also scan that I was ejected from Mario's previous to that.
Okay, I'm gonna take Russian roulette. I know.
Stephanie,
But I'm. Not. Since you have a complaint.
Yeah.
so we want them here, yeah. I don't think it's on.
Hello?
Thank you.
Hello. My. In caves, well, in clothes. And we do have ice everywhere. Would they be allowed to go in and do a rest? I'm just keeping it real. Yes, I know you're in Mountain Town, there's a, decree that our officers are not supposed to, assist. And that's what I'm hearing, say.
Yes, we were not assisting any.
Because my stop was coming. Okay. And the surrounding areas, that's my question.
Well, I don't know if I saw it because the last box plate. It's not there, one of our stations, so I'm very well aware that they do. They do not tell us about when they're doing enforcement, we do not cooperate with that. The only time that we would do any sort of mutual aid, I guess, is if they were. So like, for example, a 911 call came out and ICE was fighting with somebody, that's when you help them assist, safely get them in custody for the ICE. And the chief has mimicked that same sentiment as well.
Yes, I did see the incident on the hill, and I was kind of like, what is going on? Because I suppose we could protect and serve, not to assist ICE. And I think we have to be more conscious of that, because we all know. Migrants, we're immigrants ourselves, so we keep it in one country. So I'm gonna make like, I'm just thinking of one of the things is when I get the checking around. That is. Thank you.
Andrew, I had to follow up with Ms. Rainey's question, though. I think it's a very valid one and a concern that we all have somewhere in the back of our mind. It's a private party. Would they by right be permitted to just storm the party and rough and rustle through everybody is there?
We have other places.
I sure hope not. I sure hope that they would give us a little bit of heads up, and maybe we could talk some sense into them, but we don't control that. And I think that's.
No, understood. It's almost as though it would become a trespass because they're entering into somewhere it's not invited. Citizens. I think the governor's bureau is also barred cooperation with us.
Yeah.
Yes, I think he has. And it's a state road, but it's state permitted. So, like, it's a private party and not invited, so that's possible. Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it. If something like that happens, please let us know on the weekends for your reference.
Yes, I'll be perfectly honest with both of you. I hope to God that does not happen.
I understand. Well, we have.
If it does, we will do the best we can to address it.
And I will address it later. We have little ice advice packets that we'd like to leave with. That was all. I'm worried about that. Thanks, Steve.
My question. It's a private entity, and yet it's open to the public.
Yes,
So.
yes, just as long as you're over the age of 21, come in and enjoy
With your ID.
with your ID, yes.
Only other thought is looking at the fencing, and again, I seen the fencing isn't like completely secure, hence you have to have officers there, but if there was to be an altercation within the perimeter, was there thought about like, oh, we've got a bunch of people penned in now, like they won't be able to,
Get out.
Yeah.
obviously, like when stuff happens, people
We have-
flee on those side streets. It could open up.
All those. So, that's all. We thought, we also have an emergency access point on 17th Street for any sort of mess or water.
Gotcha.
Yeah, firefighter.
Yes, ma'am. For the rest of the summer, till September 12th. No, it runs the duration, yes, it runs the duration of the event.
As the question is asked, it's a private program. But outsiders can come in. How are you keeping control of the amount of people? I don't really come in and out. I mean, you had a set amount of people that you want to be here or not over or under.
No, I mean, as long as, I mean, it's a private street, and as long as the bars aren't overcrowded and oh man, can't think of the name, the entity that checks on the occupancies. Fire marshal, thank you. As long as they deem that it's not overcrowded, we won't have issues. It's a lot bigger than you think it is, the street when you're down. I mean, 3,000 people didn't even look like there was 3,000 people.
Which streets are you saying much more?
12-3, on East Carson Street, 12-3.
12 and 15.
It's been 6 city points.
Is there a maximum capacity that you could let in?
We do not have.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that kind of done by eye that there's too many people?
Yeah. I mean, I hope we have that problem at some point,
Yeah.
and we would have to deal with it, but that's something that, even if we doubled what we had on the weekend, it wouldn't even rise to like a maximum occupancy. We are trying, the community side and the bar side are trying to get a very notable DJ to come in for one of the weekends. So that might actually pose that question at some point. Can't promise who it is, but he's really tall. He used to play basketball.
Oh, wow. You mentioned the 3,000 people. Is that like they literally were checking,
Yes.
keeping track of?
Yeah,
How does that relate to a normal weekend?
it was more, usually we're usually around like 2,000.
Oh, wow.
On weeknight, so this was a very big uptick, and it might even be about 1,500 to 2,000 people, so.
And I did see a lot of people that were like coming at 1 o'clock.
Yes, yes.
And I think though next week, if they want to come, they're
Yeah.
probably going to come earlier because there was clusters at the
Yes.
entrances. I left at 1 and all these people were like telling people you can't go in no more. They were
Yeah,
upset.
we do close the gates down, so, typically. What we were seeing, the trend the last 2 to 3 years was after midnight, that's when the crowds became. The fights would start, the shots fired would start, and sort of the conduct would start, and that's when. So we said, hey, 1 o'clock, we'll shut the gates down, make sure nobody else is in the lot of access.
And you're anticipating July 4th holiday weekend and numbers and.
Yes, we are anticipating that that's probably going to be biggest test of the infrastructure. I'm hoping.
And what I observed, to Mr. Raymond's point, is that even though they couldn't get to the gate, they started to hang out.
Yeah, and we have
on the sub streets.
Yes,
Surrounding it.
we started, we have officers that work outside the perimeter as well, both. The plain close capacity, that we were, just telling them, hey, guys, it's time to go home, or, there's really nothing for you to do here, and it was very easy for us to disperse the crowd. So it was actually very effective that we closed those gates down a while. Yes, ma'am.
We feel that you're happy. Is there an age that's too?
Hey. They let me in.
They have different ideas in different ways. It's almost like it's one of the class. their personalities are,
People cap it at 121 years old.
We have one more.
I just wanted to ask the question. When you said that it is required to enter the remnants plan, is that information kept in a database?
It's on those scanners, so if they're rejected from the event, that would be held in the scanner. I don't think it'd be the actual scanning now, that would be a question for the security entity of that. Yeah. We do not, the police do not.
That's what, and
Yeah.
once again, we know what they do with data.
Yeah.
And I think everyone that attends the event needs to know. Because I might go over there and I'm going to was just kidding.
So I could get that answer, for you with you with expenditure. Like that.
Okay.
I think what I saw was the system, it's no different than the bars. So when you go into the bars, they have that. And maybe you can, like, when you have like an issue that maybe you don't know a specific actor,
Yeah.
you can go to the bars and find out, they know what time you walked in. Once they scan that, you're timestamped. So we're already kind of giving that up as you enter a bar. I don't know if people explicitly know it's stored. I didn't know that till I read it today. But I think that's just an extension of that at those entry points.
And, in order for us to get that information. Set. But I can. So, we can't just be like, hey, let me go get it. I'll just two, 4 without any sort of. Urgency.
I'm gonna check with our members online to see if they have any questions. Ms. Shields, Mr. Kotler? No questions? Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure we
How's that?
give them opportunity.
I look forward to seeing.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so very.
Take care.
Thank you. There's a big break. We appreciate your time. Now you can go home and get some rest. Good night.
And Beth, you want to give your report?
You want me to use this, I suppose?
I can't hear anyway.
Well, my report is short. I'm very grateful for the band meeting tonight. And there's these issues that really fester and blow up into something they don't deal with. So I'm sure they'll take into concern their thoughts. We'll have them informing him as they have further discussion about curing those hiccups. So far, we have received 68 complaints this year. And I am very happy to finally come and say, our icy bikes is ready. We will leave some of these behind. Do we have some numbers? Yes.
Yes.
You all have one?
Yes.
Okay. And I want to congratulate Karina Miller, who is on our staff investigator, who put these together after conferring with members of the Department of Public Safety, CASA, San Jose, and other interested parties, concerned about the plight faced by immigrants and the enforcement practices being exercised by the current federal administration. And as we know, American citizens have been shown by ICE. There has been an effort by informed citizens to intervene as best they can while still being safe. And San Jose has promoted the use of a whistleblower as a national event. They are big. And in this packet, you have a whistle. You have instructions about that whistle. There's also a QR code that is scanned with additional information. And you have a folder with at a glance information that is directed towards people encountering ICE. What to do, try to keep calm, And on the inside, there is information about independence. Very efficient use of paper and information presenting it. Karina, where are you? Would you like to say something about the marvelous, marvelous project that you initiated, that you prepared, that packaged and delivered?
Just I hope that the hopefully so. And we will, we also have most, when you scan the QR code on the front, it takes you to kind of a letter from them and then a very large PDF packet full of more comprehensive package resources. We also have a lot of those in that list in Spanish. So we're gonna try to get that out, which is a little different. But yeah, we included the Conscious San Jose hotline, and then in that cover letter, it also just talks about that if you witness any cooperation by Pittsburgh police to let us.
And our experience so far has been that the city of Pittsburgh police have remained faithful to their commitment not to cooperate with ICE. There have been a couple of incidents that there's some concern, but gave rise to concern. But they're under this, we can't talk about them beyond just acknowledging they occurred. But I know that I can be very confident that they should have been just for the police are not cooperating and facilitating any guys activity.
Thank you for comparing to how broadly are you looking at distributing this pack of information? Okay.
So this initial, because we also we are trying to there on the inside, there's a little tiny vanilla guy with a whistle inside. We got those from Whistle Pittsburgh, that is like a duo that's just 3D printing whistles to whoever wants them, whoever wants to order them. And so that's why they come in all different funky colors, whatever materials cheapest, that's how they get them out there. So we have another batch that's coming to put together more, and then we've talked with, I think Miss Sherry, our wonderful community person, has been in contact with like groups and stuff already, so you never know, like whoever wants to take these and distribute them, where, I can bring that other little pack that I have. There's this community group, it's like bnevi.org or .com, and they are putting together similar things like this with stuff on the front line, Dignity, Casas on Mosaic. I also reached out to them and asked them if we wanted, we could send them a bunch of the little foldies that can throw in their packets. So yeah, just wherever. Oh, sorry, I looked that.
So how they can just do one whistle so everybody knows what it is that you hear and everybody.
Anybody?
It is one of the, everybody knows what's happening like this year.
Do you want me to blow it?
Bobby
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah.
So if and if you know anybody that could be particularly helpful, make sure they're aware of it so that they can.
We are counterparting some entities. We have a very diverse community. Some of our African families have moved out of,
That's a sad moment.
yes, it is sad. So we will do an event tomorrow, and I would love to have some of that information to share with that community, resident person, because I know it's real scary. The grandmother, they moved because of the grandmother. And it's sad.
Is it a large number of folks that have moved out?
We have about 4 families, and that family is 5 to 8. And then that.
And they all moved out? They all moved out?
They just Then I can take some of the northern communities too, but they have a big population. So it's just once again, letting our neighbors know that we do care, that we're here and we are concerned about them. Thank you.
But when, if they need for accounts of anything that's in that packet, like we adopt, we're having to provide it, or mail them, I mean, it's in that cover letter, but just in case, because it is, I mean, it's, I think it's, like 100 something, with lots of different resource guides and like plans and prepare for what if, all that. So we pull resources from PA, pull resources from the ACLU, you could pull resources from national immigrant organizations, and just because there's stuff everywhere. It was nice to have it, all of it in one, as much as possible, because it is so overwhelming for people in that situation. So yeah, so we're available to print off things in there.
Understand.
Okay.
And we also have available on the Amazon. Bridget. It's available to them and assist in any neighborhood situation you might have, if you just want, if it's victim, you want to bring somebody up with somebody. If there's anything, I'm going to get information back from us, or you want to place it for them. This piece, Bridget, Sharon Bridget has been with us for 20 years. She knows her way around the city, phenomenal community advocate, and she is available and so you just give us a all letters and should be there. Karina, that's a fabulous job, thank you.
I just wanted to, thank Karina for putting out the information out there. I believe that it could be used at the food banks. I noticed that recently some people were working in the neighborhood and every so often I kept looking out the window as they were working because I know that ice has been showing.
And if you know of any families, with people with chronic disabilities or sensory issues that might be particularly vulnerable and not well informed, either about support for their life status or this life stuff, you know, maybe let us know or let Sherry know. We'll try to hook up with providers and make sure that that support is made available. That's why we're here. It all has something to do with the stadiums and police power. And our jurisdiction is limited to the city of Pittsburgh. We're all here together. We'll do what we can to support folks who are exposed to that kind of risk. Members, do you have any other questions about the?
Good evening. Where it says in your home, only show valid immigration neighbors is requested. Would we place your license? Or would we have to do that? I have another question. Where it says show valid immigration only if requested. Do we show a license, a license without a name?
Don't volunteer anything to.
And all the service.
Okay.
Or let them in.
You'll show it.
They shouldn't be in your home. Yeah.
Okay. And you said about illegally.
Because of the language, and it's not as much now, I think, we're getting hit, but they're kind of tricky. They get in the homes and using the language for right, and so, if all of a sudden you realize you're standing in front of your home, you still have the rights. And so that's what, and then there was some stuff in a lot of the resources that had us said, if you're asked to provide stuff, just please do not provide something basic. And so I think that's what that advice was mainly repeating towards, is if you're requesting, please only show something bad, don't make it worse. Yeah, that's something to make it worse. So that's what it was that. Okay.
And then, before, here, this is not a, like, this is a suggestion. And when we gradually are getting this together, did you say it's not getting in Spanish, right? this is most of this, or we will be, or we're. I'm just wondering, we can do next step and the expedited, because those are the folks who really didn't. It was an issue. Oh, and yeah.
Because, yeah, because it's just the resources already, we have about 70% of veterans to damage, they're the ones that don't look, like most of today's daily stuff comes from the fans with national and stuff.
And there are links out to other languages.
Yeah.
Like here, we have a Belize community.
Yeah.
And the Somalis and the people who to the game market.
And we have to, no, I'm sorry, but to say, and we do at the office also, there's the little know your rights cards that you see. We have a file on our computer, I think with that card in the 12 different languages that I found on the internet somewhere. And so we can provide that, even just digitally, if someone needs to pack the little, so then you can print them out.
Yeah, and it's going to our migrating to our website, Bachelor's of Words migrating to what. They're going up there as well, and those links that are embedded in the materials will be added. So those different language, documents would also be readily available through that, those links, it's just that it's not on there. Anything else? Members on that project, it was really a remarkable thing because I'm creating put together and as time went on with some support of our other team members. And she spearheaded it, and I think it's a tremendous contribution to the community. Thank you for being in there. And speaking of projects, we're going to spend the summer in the office putting things in order so that we, I think your 30th year anniversary next year, it will all be organized and it will we did in the last 30 years. We have an intern starting with us on Monday. He is a anticipated graduate at State University the end of summer. And he will be assisting with archiving a lot of the documents that really need to be preserved, things related to public hearings that you have conducted over the years. And some tons of briefings and reports that you have issued. So we have him starting it, he'll be there for several months. And the rest of the team will be coming in to assist with that project so that we have it done orderly, effectively, and actually completed. So you'll find us there most of the time. Except for Mr. Richard, who will be out in the community at all times. Nagging effort to establish an appointment with the city solicitor to discuss some of the issues related to resistance to disclosing investigative material is scheduled now for next Tuesday, June 30th at 10 a.m. So hopefully that will take us beyond this stall that we've been experiencing with release of various information, including body camera video. So as a long-awaited meeting, it's going to happen. At least they say it's going to happen. And we've heard that before, but
Isn't Christmas coming?
this is our first go with this participation. And I can say to you honestly, this administration is much more informed and interested in supporting your fulfillment of your mission than we've had in the past. Sometimes you have to be 30 years old before people think that you really know what you're doing. And you're just about there. So that might have something to do with it. But I think your litigation history, all the things that you have accomplished, you and your predecessors will contribute to, establishing your credibility and integrity so that the administration will not be, afraid to give you what you need to do your job. We'll report back in July. And the other major support system that we launched this week was the, end of last week, the, co-response team. So all that went on about the co-response models of the past, it has been, philosophically reorganized. The methodology has been revised, and they have assured us that they are now available and will cover all zones. There are still some tweaks about timing and that sort of thing, but again, it's a finished product and they're running this now. Whatever needs to be revised and changed as a result of their experience, they've indicated, yes, of course, they'll consider those things and as necessary to meet the needs presented to them in the city. But it has been launched officially, so we now have a new response model that will support individuals in crisis in the city, as well as the officers who are typically the first to respond to those scenes and are neither equipped, competent, or interested in trying to be the person who fixes the issue that presents itself. That's part of the problem that we've had in the past with some of the models, and there was still, the officers would get there would be no support coming either at all, or it would be very much later as the individual's crisis continued to spiral. And the officers, they were just left trying to fix something that they just not the job to. So having this co-response renewed, hopefully it will provide the intended support and help people, as well as provide the kind of professional support the officers need, so that they're not feeling inadequate. And when bad things happen, carrying guilt that is not theirs to share, to the shoulder. The investigative position that was open when Krista left last month, that we're holding, depending on what's happening with the city's budget. We're voluntarily holding that right now, about sending an effort to fulfill it in this moment. We just think it would be prudent to see what the city's financial situation is going to be for next year. Because we don't want to bring something on and have to start laying people off. And we're good with what we have. We're not, nobody's overwhelmed. And I think I got actually that concludes my report. Members, I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. Now, one more thing, the co-response unit that I mentioned just now, I have asked the Deputy Director of the Office of Community Health and Wellness, Marjorie Gasly, if you would come to your July meeting and present you with a briefing on what this first month of their new co-response deployment has been, what they're finding and what we can just basically what they're doing. So she'll be here for your July meeting to talk about the new co-response team response model. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
If we could roll back a few minutes here and, if my fellow board members, can look at their, board minutes, because we need to get an approval on our board minutes from last month. So I think they were sent out last week, and, so I have a motion.
Actually, I have one correction.
Okay,
I believe,
we'll do that after.
okay,
Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
I think my name was included at the end, sharing the next meeting date, and I don't think I was attended, so I don't think it was me.
It was me. Yeah, no problem. You were, thank you. Thank you.
That's
All in favor, any more?
No.
Any other corrections out there in virtual land? All right. All in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you.
Alrighty, so we're going to do our case reviews. All right, we have 3 cases for 30-day extension of full investigation. And that's case 041-26 ED. Case 044-26. And case 045-26 ED. Do I have a motion?
Make motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second. Discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You out there? All right, we have 3 for unfounded. Case number 131-5. Case number 028-26. And case number 035-26. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion to
Thank
dismiss
you.
those.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Ms. Fields. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We have one that is unsustainable. And that is case number 045-25. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Second. All on discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes have it. And the rest are the suspension,
One suspension.
one suspension. Case number 0-26 ED. Do I have a motion?
I'll make motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Cotter. Discussion? All in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
Ready, and the rest of it for informational as we wait for lots of things to happen, especially body people. Alrighty. Is there anybody? Now, this is the time for public comment. I don't know if there's anybody out in the virtual land. Or anybody here would like 3 minutes to serve. Let me bring it to you.
Thank you. We're going to just have a number of recommendations. Explain what they are for you guys. Get some.
Sure.
This is your jargon.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Query. Those are situations that something occurred, the court has been clear about this, is their exception. So
Okay, okay.
we said that if something is occurring out there, but up in court, you are made aware of something and there's no individual complainant that comes forward, particularly in incidents of critical incidents like an officer involved shooting or an excessive what appears to be a questionable use of force. Then I have to open it in clear.
Okay.
And that's what the EDI means.
And then SO is subject officer.
Okay. The,
Complainant,
okay, and W number 1.
witness number 1.
Okay, and that maybe I was curious that BWB.
Fine.
Okay. OMI officer.
Officer.
Okay, thank you. Again, it's helpful with me at least.
It's jargon.
Yeah, if you don't know it, it's hard to read.
On this page somewhere, so. Yeah,
PPP. That's like that. Okay, thank you very much. It's very helpful.
thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah, we're used to the jargon
Exactly.
in the community. Yeah, sure.
Right.
Thanks for bringing that up. All right, any other public comment? Without further ado, give me this thing. All right, so our next regular meeting is at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, July 6th via Zoom.
July what?
July 26th, 8th. July 28th at 6 p.m.
Okay.
All right, and so join us on Zoom. It's easier. It's right from your house. We'd love to have you. All righty?
Okay.
Thanks so much. Do I have a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you, everybody.
Well done.
Okay, that share. Meant to make sure that it's- Yeah.
What is?
The link you can share.
Yes, we have a meeting coming